Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin, we'll need to run through our obligatory risk disclosure. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their initial investment, and only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with jeopardize and should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the financial news and see what financial news we have in store that has the potential of impacting the markets here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and change our focus here to the financial, okay, and we'll take a look. Okay, so we have at 10 a.m. today, we have University of Michigan speaking on aspects of inflation. Okay, and we have a couple of members, Trump speaking on Fox, which obviously has some impact as well. Okay, but overall, I would say relatively light in the way of news, but certainly we have some news starting next week that will has the potential of impacting the markets. Okay, import prices, retail sales, things of that nature. Okay, so today again relatively light. So headed into the session, really, so the Michigan sentiment report on inflation probably has the biggest impact on today's market. Okay, so let's go ahead now and turn our attention. Hey, Dirk. Hey, Aslan. Dark screen. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see if that's corrects itself here. Okay. Perfect. I don't know exactly why that happens, but in any case, all right. Let's turn our attention now to the markets. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and switch my screen over to my platform, and we'll take a look here. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay, here we go. Hopefully that's visible. I'll pause here for a moment. It takes maybe 20 seconds before this kind of becomes visible. So I'll pause here for a moment. And if I can get a confirmation that you do indeed see it, that would be excellent. And I'll go ahead and navigate my screen to the appropriate time frame. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. So looking at this, we're starting off with a daily chart. You can see that we continue over the last few days to be in some sort of consolidation range in the gold market. Really haven't gotten much in the way of any sort of extension in any direction of late. I was kind of commenting on that in group coaching last night that we really haven't gotten much of extension. We've just been in a relatively large range here. Okay. So again, we have another candle that indicates that we are continue to be potential range here. Okay. Again, the last few days have been, but nonetheless, we remain in certainly a relatively strong, at least on the daily chart, relatively strong bullish pattern here. Okay, nothing at the moment on this time frame, other than indicating that maybe that we are in some sort of pause on the potential upward direction here. Okay, that's really that what it amounts to. Okay, potential pause of the upward direction. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into the 4-hour chart. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off some of our indicators here that's kind of impacting what I can see here. Let's see if turn off initial balance here for a moment. All right, so looking at this, you can see that again we're kind of zooming in on those daily candles. Okay, and you can see that we are developing a little bit of some sort of wedge pattern, some sort of consolidation pattern in this market. Okay, so we're coming into the sort of the apex of this move, of this potential move. What I can tell you, is the magnitude of the move. Okay, I don't necessarily know the direction, but given the historical bullish pattern that we've been seeing, the view is that maybe that will be to the upside. Okay, but that is not to say that we can't have a break of this pattern to the downside. It's giving us a sense of where this move could take us. Okay, so again, to the upside, we're probably looking at somewhere in the order of say 3760. Okay, to the downside, it looks like it's going to be close to this 3600 level. So while I don't know the direction, I do know the magnitude of this move, which is I would say pretty significant here. Okay, so again, we remain in this consolidation pattern. We have not been able to get above, basically 3,700. Okay, 3,700 has been a price that we have not been able to get above. All right. We have stalled here on a couple occasions around 3698. Okay, and we again showing signs maybe of some weakness around this area. Okay, moving down to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we'll go ahead and turn off our channel. Not channels, but patterns here. Okay, which is the triangle pattern. And we're just going to kind of focus our attention on the most recent activity here. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to take a look and see from Thursday, okay, all the way to close of Thursday, and see where we're at. Okay, so we are at an area, okay, of value, right, right at the edge of value here. We've been at this area before. Right, we rallied away from this area. We've come back, found some more buyers, but these buyers failed to create a new high. Right, price has stalled. Now we're back to that same level. So assuming that we continue this pattern, right, we've technically made a lower low or lower high, okay, in this market and working on a potential lower low. There's certainly the possibility that maybe we come back to retest this 3667 level before we see any sort of move back to the upside. Okay, there's certainly obviously the possibility of holding this level. What maybe causing me a little bit of concern is that we've come to this level, reacted, but we reacted in a way that did not create a new high. So we reacted, giving us the indication that maybe there are some sellers that are beginning to get control of this market here. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at the see where we are on the ADR level side. So you can see on the average daily range, we've managed to get up to the highs here of the daily range. We reacted away from the average daily high. So again, a couple of indicators here that maybe we might see some further downside in this market. Okay, taking a look at the initial balance, just to get a sense of what the overnight was able to do with this market. We'll start off with the Asia market and see what the Asia market was able to accomplish. Okay, so looking at this, you can see that Asia rallied. Right, we had a very nice rally in gold during Asia. Right, we got a nice pullback into value, a break of the initial balance range, and we got to pretty close to probably the 250% extension of this initial range. So fair number of bulls, right? Yes, again, 200%, right? Over 200%. Okay, we're talking maybe even as high as 250% of the initial range here. Okay, we came back, found some more buyers, reacted again back up to the 200% extension. Okay, so fair number, daily basis. Fair number of buyers, right? So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the London, okay, and see what London was able to do with this. London, on the other hand, was not quite as bullish. Okay, London had the initial balance range, broke to the downside, didn't quite get to the 100 or 200% extension to the downside, but certainly got to at least 150% of that move to the downside. It rallied, got back inside initial balance, and again was met with sellers. So the question now becomes, are we dealing with some sort of range price action? It certainly feels that way, right? Asia up, London down, and now we're at this value area high level. So I would say that, certainly headed into the session, I'm kind of have kind of a little bit of mixed messages here, right? As to direction, right? We have a lot of overnight traders, overnight traders that have been bullish in this market have come back maybe to the start of this initiative move to the upside. So the question is, are they still around? Okay, are they still around to maybe offer another opportunity for them to drive price higher? Or have we kind of exhausted buy liquidity here? And now the bears are kind of getting a little bit of a firm hold here in this market. We'll have to see. Well, my first data point that I'm going to be using here now is how well we hold above 36.75. If we hold above 36.75, maybe we stay in some sort of range today, okay? Or if we break below 36.75 with some volume, maybe we revisit the value area low of this visible range down to 36.64. Maybe the possibility of going all the way down to 36.55. That's certainly not out of the realm of possibility here, okay? So interesting level right now, looking at this 36.75 level, seeing how well we react away from the value area high. This would be, I guess, considered to some degree a little bit of a value buy, right, for buyers here, right at the value area high level, right? The question is, are we going to get the participation that we're looking for here, okay? Yeah, definitely thought it was going to range, and especially given what we saw in the initial balance, right? So the one of the things that we saw very early, right? We had the news report, and that created a wide candle, and as a result, the wide candle, right? That wide candle made it very difficult for participants to drive price outside that. Okay. Now we're not in that same environment. We don't have necessarily the same news today, but we still have some news here at 10 a.m. that could drive price in one direction or the other. Okay, so if our inflationary numbers are high, then maybe we could see a rally, right, of the markets, and maybe a rally in this market, right? So, inflationary numbers generally offer us opportunities, because the gold is seen as kind of a hedge against inflation, right? So we could see a rally depending on how the news is received. Nonetheless, I'll be watching this 36.75 level again. I'm interested in understanding the fundamentals, but at the end of the day, I'm a technical analysis trader, and I react to what price action is doing. Okay, and less about trying to come to some sort of opinion on what the market should do. That often doesn't lead me into a good trade. Okay. All right. So if there's no other questions on the gold market, we'll go ahead and turn our attention over to the crude oil market. Okay, looking at the crude oil market, let's go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. And looks like we've gotten some sort of rally, which I think we were kind of, I think in yesterday's session, I think we were kind of calling for to some degree. I thought that would be some sort of rally, at least back to the initial to VWAP, before we would see maybe a continuation move. Nonetheless, correlation in that market the same this morning. Yes, very much so, Sweet Pea. Gold and silver are very, very correlated markets. Okay, so often you will see gold and crude oil. I mean, gold and silver move in unison. Okay, all right. So looking at the crude oil chart here. Okay, so we closed the day lower. We've opened and it looks like if we found some participants here to the bullish side, so we have about 32,000 orders to the buy side, and that's caused price to move from 62.15 up to 63.74. Okay, so we have a developing bullish candle in a market that still continues to be, in some sort of structure that it looks more either bearish, okay, either bearish, or maybe you can make a case that maybe we are again moving in some sort of range environment, right? Because I see that we see a lot of overlapping candles. When I see a lot of overlapping candles, that gives me the indication that we are in some sort of range price action. Okay, if we manage to get above, say, 65, 68, maybe that will turn this market from neutral to bullish. And the same is true if we can get below 62, right? Maybe 61.80. That could again restore this downside trend that we've been seeing of late. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, you're starting to see some signs here of some bullish price action. Okay. This candle right here wiped out a lot of hopeful sellers here, right? Got a nice little extension. Would not have been too big of a surprise here, right? To see price continue to extend to the downside. Was cut short, right? We got to this level here around 63, okay, and found some buyers. Okay, so now the question becomes, can these participants create a new high? If they're able to create a new high, then maybe we start to consider that we could maybe get up to as high as 66. Okay, but right now, the can we get above 64 is kind of the first order of business here. Okay, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's see what the 30-minute chart guidance. Okay, so you can see on the shorter time frame, we're starting to see some indications here, right? Price is above our VWAP, is above our settlement, it's above our volume profile. So we're starting to see on the lower time frame that we're starting to see some bullish participation potentially here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this channel here. Okay, so again, would be kind of inclined here to again, if I'm thinking bearish, well, I need to see some sort of break to the downside in this channel. Okay, if I'm bullish, well, maybe the bottom end of this channel could offer me an opportunity. Certainly, a pullback to the VWAP would be a nice area for me to kind of manage my risk and support a trade to the upside. Okay, one thing I'm not seeing here that I'm going to add here in a minute is my EMA indicator here, specifically the 9. I'm going to add, okay, exponential moving average here. All right, so we're going to add the 9 to this discussion. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open this up to style. Okay, so here we are, right? So the 9 EMA could offer me a location. The VWAP could offer me a location, maybe to participate. Now, again, 64 remains a level that we need to keep an eye on, but nonetheless, we are in some sort of bullish move here at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. And if I look at this, okay, to the close, you can see that we're well above it, right? We're well above value, right? So people are willing to pay a premium to be a part of this market, okay? If I take a look at, let's see, let's go with the initial balance here. I just want to get a sense, but I think the initial balance again, London is this London. Yeah, London, right? Found some buyers, right? Nice move to the upside in London, right? We broke initial balance, and we've exceeded the 200% extension of that initial balance range. If we look at it from Asia's perspective, well, Asia looks like it was lower. Okay, so let's change this to Asia. Okay, so Asia was a bit more bearish, I believe. Get that wrong. Yeah, a little bit initially bearish, okay, and then again, once we got closer to the London session, it even got to even Asia got to the 200% extension. Wasn't easy, right? Took a long time to get there, but did end up getting there. Okay, so we get to the 200% extension. The buyer said, "You know what? This is enough of a discount for me. I'm willing to load up on some crude oil here at these prices at 61, say 61.70." And we've been in a bullish trend ever since. Okay, so headed into the session, again on the higher time frame, we might be a little bit more mixed, mixed range, kind of more rangy. But again, as long as price remains above, yeah, I think to some degree, I think certainly the gold market, I think would be a market that it has been moving quite nicely in the Asia market. I don't know, maybe to some degree. London would be a good session to look at for crude oil. Okay. All right. So again, headed into the session, I'm already starting to see some signs here that maybe we might retrace some of this move that we've received here. So let me go ahead and open up the initial balance range for the current session here. Current day session. Okay, looking at this. So there's our range. So question now becomes, am I going to be a participant to the long side should price reach, I would expect to reach the 9 EMA or the VWAP. Okay, that would be a logical level. Let's say 63. 63 seems to be a logical level to potentially participate in a potential long move to the in this market based on this chart. Okay, if we fall below 63 with some volume, then maybe we could make a full rotation all the way down to the lows. That's not out of the realm of possibility, but right now I feel like, at least on this time frame, I feel like I could be in some sort of bullish trend. Okay, so I need to look and see how price reacts around the 9 EMA, around the VWAP, and see if it offers me a opportunity for an upside move. Okay, all right. Before I move on to the equity markets, just kind of taking a look here at the landscape of participation here. So I'm gonna kind of make my little plug here for some participation on the likes, guys, and subscribes and things of that nature. Okay, so hit the like button. Okay, hit the like button if what I'm sharing with you is indeed supporting you in your analysis of the markets. If you haven't made a comment on the portal in some time, make a comment on how this analysis is supporting your understanding of the markets. Okay, that's always very helpful. And then also subscribe to the channel. Right, be alerted of when I do come on this. Which I hope to increase my participation, especially as I see, other markets like Asia, right, offer some opportunities. Maybe some more dedicated time during the Asia session is warranted, not just the New York session. So let's so let's go ahead now and take a look, now that I've kind of gave my little plug for some likes in this session here. We'll go ahead and turn our attention. Okay. Yeah, maybe that might be in order. Okay, given what we're seeing, that might be something that we entertain here. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ. Okay. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ here, and let's see. We'll start off with a daily chart. Okay, looking at the daily chart, we can see that the market continues to drive higher. We had this pattern. Now, whether we go with this pattern that we've kind of been following, you can see that we are probably only not even very right. So if I again do that little measure of this original pattern that we had drawn here, right? The magnitude of this move, right? So any softening of interest rates, right, has the potential of moving the market, right, to a place that we've not seen in some time, right? 24,600, 24,700. That's certainly in the realm of possibility given what we're seeing here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Aslan. So yeah, maybe there's a possibility that we maybe add Asia here. I don't know if I could do this on a daily basis, but we'll see. Okay, but certainly I think a continued review of New York is definitely in order. Okay, especially for the equity markets, right? So, but yes, gold and crude oil are showing some signs. Certainly, gold in the Asia session, crude oil maybe to a lesser degree, but certainly the London session seems like a good market. Okay. All right. So yeah, so daily chart giving us indication that we are in a healthy momentum to the upside. Looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, we're kind of drilling into these daily candles. You can see that we continue to grind higher here in this market. We look at how nicely price is following the sort of the trend line that's been established by the 9 EMA. We were in some sort of consolidation range. Maybe people were starting to beginning to think that maybe we get some relaxation of this move, but instead we've gotten more buyers to potentially step into this market. We have a developing bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour. We had a reaction away from the 9 EMA on this prior candle. So right now it's still indicating that we still have a fair amount of interest to the upside. What's maybe a little bit of concern is I'm not seeing a whole lot of volume, okay, behind this move, right? So we're seeing price move, but we're not seeing necessarily that there's the volume is following it, okay? So that's always an area, that's always something to be aware of, okay? Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, looking at the 30-minute chart, again, we continue to show signs of maybe moving out of range, right? Moving out of range and maybe into trend, possibly, right? With this candle, we broke above the 24,000 level. We came down, retested VWAP down to this 24,000 level and found some more buyers, okay? Looking at a little more closely at the volume, I can't say that I'm overly impressed with the buy volume at the moment, right? There's a little bit of a divergence between the volume and what we're seeing in price, okay? All right, so that is obviously cause for concern. Do we want to get into a place where we, join this view that we're going to continue higher, only for sellers to step into this market, right? Because right now I don't see that the buyers are dominating necessarily, right? There seems to be some presence of sellers that's kind of keeping the volume down on the buy side, okay? So that's something to kind of monitor, I would say, as we head into the session here, okay? All right. Next thing I'm going to do here, and I was going to make fixed range volume profile, but I think I know the answer possibly. We'll go ahead and start off with the start of the session. We'll drag that across to the close of the session. So we're in kind of some sort of range here, okay? We're kind of testing the highs of value here, right? We're seeing maybe we are getting maybe some aggressive participation of some buyers. We're starting to see maybe the volume bar get above the 0 line, and we're at a level of importance here, right? This would be a value, right? A value sell, right? Value sell. If I was a seller, this would be a good level to sell, right? I'm not having to take all that risk, and I have the value area high as a reference. But that doesn't necessarily means that it needs to happen, right? Right now, we're seeing that we're getting a little bit of more buyers kind of stepping into this market. So sellers tried to move the market lower with this volume and got mixed results, right? Managed a single bearish candle and then wasn't even able to secure a follow candle. So market does appear to be somewhat bullish, okay? As we enter into this session, okay, we're seeing that we're beginning to get above this value range, which is could be initiative. Okay, all right, let's take a look at the initial balance ranges. let's see what the initial balance range are offering us here. So let's start off with the Asia session and see what the Asia session is offering us. So we'll take a look at that, and you can see that initially Asia was, well, actually we're kind of in range, right? So we initially got an extension to about the 75% extension to the downside. We then turned around and got to the 100% extension on the upside. Then we turned around and got all the way down to the 200% extension as we got closer to London. All right. So taking a look at London here, okay, looking at London, you can see that we kind of a failed auction, right? We failed to auction lower, right? So we auctioned to the downside and found some buyers. So now we had a full rotation, okay, full rotation of price through the initial balance range, and now we're starting to see maybe some price action that would indicate that maybe the market wants to head higher here. Okay, now we're starting to see the volume kind of pick up in the price direction. Okay, so if I'm interested in the long, I'm starting to see volume kind of participate in this. Okay, so headed into the session, right? Yeah, twice double break. Yeah, so yeah, there was a double break in both directions, right? We had a break to the downside. So for London, this would be a failed auction. Okay. For Asia, I would say is probably more range price action. Okay. Good morning. Weekly double top forming on the NQ last month to this month. Double top. Okay. On the monthly, let's see. Weekly double top. On the monthly chart, it feels like we're in a very strong move to the upside. If I look at the weekly chart, again, similar kind of view. I have nothing here on the left-hand side that indicates to me that we are in some sort of double top area. Daily last month to this month. Okay, daily last month to this month. Okay, so okay, now I'm starting to follow you. Okay, so there's the first top, right? And this is the second top, right? Now the question is, are we seeing price? Are we seeing price again? We're not seeing necessarily signs of this yet, right? I agree with you. We are at an area where it would be kind of an area where we could expect maybe a reversal, but we're not seeing the 3-bar pattern, right, to offer that to it just yet. If anything, we're seeing some action that indicates that maybe we continue higher. Okay, but yes, I do see the possibility of maybe a double top, but I'm not seeing the candle formation to support that just yet. Okay, now could we extend just a little bit further and then reverse? Certainly. Okay, that's certainly in the cards here, and that would be aligned with, kind of the general kind of price action, right? We've been at the highs, so the natural thing to think is that we would maybe make another leg back to the other side, because we have been in some sort of range, right? But right now, I still need another candle here, and maybe it's not going to happen this week, but next week, maybe if there's a candle that maybe closes maybe as a bearish engulfing, then I would say that your hypothesis, Shark, might carry a little bit more weight for me. Okay. All right. Let's take a look. One last peek at the 30 before we move on to the ES. Okay. So again, looking at this from a London's perspective. Okay. So this is kind of looking like a failed auction kind of trade. We actually completed a failed auction, but I'm seeing that we are still very much in a trend to the upside. Okay. I cannot deny that the move is still higher. I'm not seeing any sort of price action. If I draw my channels, right, well, I'm in a bullish channel to the upside, right? So what should I be doing? Well, I could either participate in the direction, or I could look for maybe some opportunities, be a contrarian, look for some opportunities here to the downside. But honestly, I honestly need to see some patterns, and I'm not seeing them on the 15-minute, right? I need to see some patterns that offer me some indication that maybe price is going to reverse at these levels, right? Right now, I've yet to get a bearish candle, okay? All right, so that's kind of what my view here right now. We're at an interesting level. We're at an interesting potential of inflection point in this market. We see that on the daily that we're at a level that could cause price to reverse from this area, but we need to witness it. We need to see some price action here, offer us maybe a 3-bar reversal pattern, maybe a break of channel to the downside, maybe a move back inside the initial balance of London, something along those lines that would kind of give us some confirmation that it is indeed in play. Okay. Otherwise, right now on the lower time frame chart, certainly I feel like I'm still in a bullish channel in this market. Okay, I'm still bullish in this market. Okay. Moving on to the ES. Okay. Let's take a look at the ES. We'll start off with the daily. Okay. Again, we don't have the bullish candle variety, right? We have a different kind of consolidation pattern that's broken to the upside. I know everybody was looking for maybe for that opportunity to participate in a downside move, right? We continue. This market continues to have legs to the upside. Okay. Now we have a reversal candle developing here, right here at the top of the market. We've broken above this consolidation pattern that we were kind of following. We got above this. What was this? 65.40 level. Okay. And now we're at 65.91, challenging 6600. Okay. So, while we were looking, maybe that the market might kind of reverse here, right? It hasn't. It continues to grind to the upside. Okay. Moving down to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Let's go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. Okay. So turning off initial balance. Okay. So you can see that we're developing another, kind of bullish engulfing candle above the 9 EMA and maybe technically above the VWAP. Okay. Right. So again, seeing some overlapping price action on the 4-hour. Price continues to make higher highs and higher lows. Obviously, we still need another higher high to continue the pattern. But there's nothing in this candle that indicates that is not out of the realm of possibility. I would say 6,600 is going to be an interesting level in this market. It's psychological and a whole number, and it is at the end of the day Friday. Okay. So we have to be careful that maybe there might be an interest in holding, end of day 6,600. Okay. 6,600 might be a level that market participants want to hold as a result of some sort of, let's just say, option expiration, whatever the case may be. 6,600, there might be some interest in kind of keeping price at that level or around that level on the close today. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's see what the 30-minute chart has to offer us. Okay. Again, you can see that we have a fair number of buyers here at this in this market. We've started to see that price hasn't gotten above. We're seeing a cross of our 9 EMA above our 21, above our VWAP. Okay. So again, we're starting to see some signs here. We're at a level that could cause price to reverse, no doubt. 65.92 could be that price and continue this kind of trickle down, right? Yeah, we're marching up that channel right now, Dirk. We don't see anything softening that. Now we are coming into some levels that could cause price to stall, no doubt, right? The 65.92, the 6,600 level, we could easily come up to 6,600 and then stall there, right? That's certainly the possibility. We've reached that level before, okay, here, and we kind of meandered away from it. So we could see that same happen again. Let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's compare where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. Okay. So take a look at the close here. So you can see that we're at the end of the day, at the end of the day, all this price action is just in one big range, right? Really not a whole lot of aggressive price movement, okay? As long as we remain inside this initial value range, we could have the potential of some range price action today, right? And Friday of all days would be a perfect time to have that range, right? Okay. So nothing in here that is telling me that we are aggressively moving in one direction outside of these series of candles. We're inside value. We are seeing overlapping price, and we can continue that way throughout the session today. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at initial balance here. Let's see what the participants have been able to do here. So this is London. London had, again, similar to the NASDAQ, but probably not as much strength, because I think the NASDAQ is a little bit further along here. We had a failed auction, right? We auctioned to the downside. We found buyers. Buyers have since rotated price through initial balance back to its highs. Right now we're at settlement, okay? So settlement price could cause us again to maybe provide another leg to the downside, not out of the realm of possibility, okay? Or we could hold like we did with NASDAQ and potentially continue higher here. Not out of the realm of possibility here. I think, and a reasonable target would be 6,600. Okay, that would not be out of the realm of possibility, right? We are at the end of the day in a bullish channel, right? We the only thing is that we're not in obviously an opportune location necessarily to take a buy, right? This is a retail buy, right? But it is aligned with the direction of the move, right? So what do I do? Well, I wait for a better location, maybe a little bit of a pullback back to VWAP, something along those lines to help me manage my risk. That would be kind of the operative here. Okay. All right. So let's see. We took a look at London. Let's take a peek at Asia. Looks like Asia might have been a little bit more bearish than London. So, but I think what it's really telling me is we're in some sort of range, right? So Asia, right? Asia broke to the downside, rotated back, and then broke to the downside again. London has taken whatever Asia was able to bring, scoop all that up, and move it higher. So mixed bag, right? Asia lower, and London higher. Okay. So again, what's that telling us? That we're in some sort of range. That's what it's really telling us. That we're not in any sort of committed trend in either direction. Okay. So, all right, heading into the session, I would say that I'm a bit more, maybe say neutral to bullish in this market, maybe bullish to neutral. I think 6,600 would be a reasonable target for this market today. And then I would say 6,600 probably could cause price to stall at that level. I don't anticipate on Friday necessarily for people to go in with a lot of long positions, holding a lot of long positions during the weekend. I think that's maybe a bit of a stretch. But nonetheless, I think 6,600 is not out of the cards today, okay? And that we might hang out in this range for the rest of the session. All right, let's take a look at the Dow here, and let's see what the Dow has to say and how much aligned it is with the markets here. So similar, I guess the Dow has kind of more of a look and feel to the ES, okay? Kind of same kind of wedge pattern here that we're kind of developing. We're coming to the close of this wedge pattern. Now, the question is, do we continue to the upside, or is this wedge pattern maybe, again, an area where we could see price fall, right? Very difficult to participate in these upside moves when we're at the highs, right? Everybody was thinking, well, this has got to come down. I said, well, I think the market could continue bullish longer than we can remain solvent. Okay. So I would guard against, trying to anticipate, some sort of move here, right, to the downside. We, as much as people want to maybe participate because of the risk, we're still seeing some strength to the upside in this market. All right. Looking at the 4-hour chart, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off initial balance. I'm going to maybe take a peek here, see where we're at with the, we'll wait for the average daily range here. So again, we did with this candle, we did manage to close below the VWAP. Okay, that's a feather in the cap of the bulls, of the bears, I should say. But we still remain above the 9 EMA. So maybe a little bit more mixed, in the Dow here. Okay, we had a nice bullish engulfing candle. If this is indeed another leg to the downside after receiving this kind of move, then the expectation is that we're going to break below the 9 EMA. If we don't break below the 9 EMA, well, guess what I'm going to draw? I'm going to draw a channel to the downside. And if I get a break to the upside, well, I'd like to be a part of that, right? Because this feels like more of a retracement, right? Right now, it feels like more like a retracement. I'm not seeing the follow through candle that's driving price lower here. Okay. So 30-minute chart. Okay. So 30-minute chart, again, there's that little retracement channel, bearish channel that we're in right now. Okay. Price is technically below our below VWAP and above our 9 EMA. So we're getting a little bit of mixed messages here. Okay. We're in a little bit of a bearish channel. Okay. So until we break the bearish channel in one direction or the other, then I have to play the channel. Right. But that's not my forte. I'm not really good at playing channels this narrow. Right. I'm more of a momentum trader. I like seeing price break something like this, and then I'd like to be a part of it. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this fixed range volume profile. Let's take a look at the start of this level and bring this across here. Okay. So same deal. Now, again, we're at a nice level. We're a nice level. If we're buyers of this market, we're at a nice level. The only concern here is we're starting to see a little bit of structure here that would indicate that maybe we are in the beginnings of maybe a move lower. Okay. Price is below our VWAP. It's struggling to stay above our 9 EMA. We're at the low end of value. Again, if I'm looking bullish, then I'm at an area where I can participate. Am I getting the reaction away from this what's perceived, discount area that I would expect? No, I'm not. Right? I'm seeing some maybe people are adding to their portfolios before the move, right? Before the market move, but I'm starting to see maybe some structure that maybe there's a deeper pullback in this market, especially in this one. Okay. All right. Let's take a quick look at initial balance, and then we're just going to come back to doing a review here across all the markets here. So here we are, Asia lower, London also looks like lower, right, at the low end. Okay. So we didn't get the reaction like we did in the other markets. So I would say of the three markets, the Dow seems to be the weakest, or it could be lagging, right? So again, NASDAQ ES had made that move back to the upside. Dow has not really embraced that just yet, right? We're at a point where we could see that, move back to the upside, but we haven't rallied to the same degree as the other equity markets. So of the three markets, the Dow seems to be the weakest of the three. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take one last peek here, guys, across all the markets and see what the price action is doing. We have the initial balance range. We have a little bit of a double bottom, I guess, that's been created here around that value area low range, right? We were talking about this range offering us maybe an opportunity, right? This is a logical place to find some buyers, right? So now we're going to go open up the initial balance range for today and see what kind of range we're developing. Okay, for the day session here. Okay, so we're I would say probably average initial balance range. So if we get a break above this area here, we get a break above initial balance high, and then maybe a retest of that initial balance high, we could see maybe a move back up to 3,700. That would not be out of the realm of possibility in this market. So we got a nice reaction off of value area high, indicating to me that there may be still some buyers in this market. Okay. Moving on to the crude oil market. Crude oil market, again, we got to the high of the range. And what do we see? We got some sellers. We have a candle that's developing below my channel. Right now, the question becomes, is this VWAP or the 9 EMA is that going to offer us maybe an area for continuation in price? If we get below the 90 EMA and VWAP with some volume, maybe we see another swing to the downside. Okay. Right now, we're seeing a fair amount of interest to the downside. Price is aligned with the general direction of the market. So do I embrace this and look for maybe a leg lower? Or am I convinced that this move here was made by participants that were serious about bringing price higher? Then I would say that 9 EMA and VWAP are going to offer me maybe some opportunities. Okay. And then across all the equity markets, it was kind of a little bit of a mixed bag here. Okay. Seeing a little bit of, I say maybe a little bit of strength in the NAS, but I see more, I would say more in the way of range. Okay. Certainly could be an area where we could see price, maybe falter here a little bit. Okay. I'm starting to see maybe some beginning indications of that here, right? We're not seeing the same kind of strength. We're not seeing a new high. So it would not be out of the realm of possibility that we fail here, right? ES, okay, similar kind of look and feel. We're up against settlement price. So, and then again, we're up at these highs, could offer us maybe another leg here to the downside, okay? Right before we see any sort of move to the upside. Okay. And then ultimately the Dow, again, we're not really getting the reaction that we were hoping to get. Maybe we're at lows. So possibly we get maybe a rally in the Dow here. Market just opened. All right. So it will be interesting to see if we manage to hold above value area low. That could provide us maybe a leg higher. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much what I have for you guys. A little bit of a mixed bag. Seeing some strength in gold, not recent strength in the crude oil, and then kind of a mixed bag, I would say, across the equities. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and close this session as we close most sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys. Remember, this is Friday, so capital preservation is in order here. Okay. De nada, Sweet Pea. Okay. All right, George. Have a good day.